Hi, good morning. This is Suzanne Hannafin with Acumen Executive Search, and I'm so happy to be here today and have my good friend Tiffany Salzman from Candor Concepts with me. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, Suzanne. Thank you so much for having me today.
You are welcome. Well, let me tell everybody a little bit about you. You are an incredible small business owner that really works with other small businesses or larger that works with them holistically in their marketing plan. And you are a true marketer that doesn't look at just a website or just a logo, but really the strategy of pulling everything together. And I love your background that you've come from big agencies to small organizations. So you really know the questions to ask to get things done. Did I do a good enough introduction? And is there anything that you want to add to that?
I think that was great. Yes, I have a wealth of experience working with small to large businesses. And it's interesting because we think the challenges are different, but in reality, there's so much similarities. I love bringing the experiences and expertise from different organizations into my clients.
Yeah, well said. I think the other important thing to talk about with you is being a Rotarian. You have been involved with Rotary for many, many moons, and you can tell that has been, brought into your organization. And not only that, but you live it and it's pushed outward as well. So when you look back on your career, I am sure you've had mentors and formative leadership experiences that have affected your life. Can you give us a couple of examples of that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. It's funny enough that you mentioned Rotary because as I was thinking through this, Rotary's involvement in my life has been cornerstone. And one of the first really formative leadership lessons was when I was selected to be a Rotary Youth Leadership Award winner. And I was treated to a week-long retreat to learn about servant leadership, learn about service above self, learn about myself, my own styles, and how to better influence, impact, and support others around me. And that really changed the trajectory on how I operated, how I worked, and just the gratitude I feel for what the organization put into me at such a young age and paying it forward. So 20 plus years later, yes, here I am, a Rotarian, very involved in our club and our district. And it really focuses a lot on how we serve our clients today.
Well, that's a perfect segue into my next question, which are, let's talk about those values that you hold close to you that you then operationalize into your own organization.
So I realized that because I was so involved in Rotary at an early age, I've kind of adopted Rotaries. They call it the four-way test. And so the basics of it are, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Does it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? So that's kind of for me, like the baseline of values for anything that we do. Beyond that, the organizational values that I hold dear that everyone on my team really embodies, like they are very aligned on who we are as people, are speaking the truth, being kind and candid, right? So we're not sugarcoating, we're not beating around the bush, doing the right thing. So that means we're playing the long game. We can definitely make campaigns that do short-term wins, but it needs to line up to what we're doing holistically in the long term to build sustainable organizations that can last. And then empowering others is really big. We love teaching to fish, coaching, consulting, and creating systems and tools that help people be more effective in their own organizations so that they're not necessarily needing support all the time. We're there to support, definitely if they need it, but that we can empower them to move forward. And then last but not least, service above self. A large charitable component to what we do. The organizations we work with are philanthropic, nonprofit, women-led, or focused on really bringing a positive impact to their community.
And so how do you make a decision on the type of clients that you support?
it's kind of this like dating game, right? Where you're learning who someone is and what they're about. So there has to be this nice fit that we have with an organization. So first, it's always, what are you trying to do? And typically the question comes like, oh, I need a website, or oh, I need someone for social media. And I'm happy to speak to that. But really, the bigger question is, what is the overarching thing that you're trying to accomplish? Because rather than focusing on the tactics and the topic right at hand, there's normally something bigger picture that creates that challenge. And so when we can have a bigger conversation, and when they're open to trying new ideas, and we can align on what really the values are of their organization and how to embody that in their messaging, that's when things really start to sing. So it's really about alignment. So if we have a client that's really aligned on focusing on doing good in the world, it's usually really easy to work with them and help them see how they can be more successful. And then we also can help them with the basics of marketing and organization stuff.
No, I love that. And that's kind of the external view. But internally, as you're building your team and Candor is growing, how are you finding and asking the right questions for this fit? Because those are pretty four iconic and very specific values. So how do you go about it internally?
So in terms of finding team members for Candor, okay. So referrals definitely when people understand who we are and what we do, it's pretty easy to see the folks that have been in nonprofit world or in service organizations that are natural volunteers. I think that's probably the first like point that you can find someone if they align. Um, Also, I think that have been candid, and also individuals that have maybe been in marketing or the agency world for many, many years and are kind of tired of, I hate to put it this way, but the rat race. Marketing and agency life is very busy. It typically comes in ebbs and flows, and there's a lot of time, like you're working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. So what we try to do is look for people that have so much talent that want to make the world a better place, giving them opportunities to leverage their skills to help organizations do that good. So it's kind of like a ripple impact, right? So we do a small project that helps someone else perform better, that then helps them support their community more.
Oh, I love it. I love it because you're speaking our language, that it's not just a transaction, but it's like oh, I'm trying to think what it's called. One thing happens and then causes another. It's like the ripple effect,
Mhm.
and to actually see it. So I'm going to kind of go off script a little bit and ask you this. You started Rotary really young, and again, you live by these values. But what advice would you give your 20-year-old self of what you know today?
Ooh, I just got goosebumps. That's a good question. Okay. Um, we've had a conversation about this behind closed doors. The advice I would probably give, while it seems silly, is go for it and step into the light. I've done a lot. Like, I love supporting others. I love supporting organizations. I love helping shine the light on the good work that people are doing. Yet I personally don't step into the light as much as I likely should, especially in my role in my organization now. So I think it would be to step forward and to have a little bit more faith and confidence in what I'm doing, because the work we do really does make an impact.
Oh, I love it. And I think there's a balance that women business owners need to balance. And I'll say it, it's family, it's kids, it's our employees, it's our external relationships. How do you balance and feel whole?
Oh, I don't think I'm there yet. I'm still learning. Let's be honest. Um, I have a fantastic husband that helps bring me back to reality anytime I get off. I really love what I do, and I can focus in on it. And that means it could be all work, or it could be all Rotary, or it could be all family. And he can see the warning signs in me sooner than I can see them in myself. and offer just a quick like, hey, how about this? And that helps. The other thing I've learned is learning more about myself and what brings me peace. So before I used to focus on balance, or I'd think that I needed to kind of equalize everything. And over time, I've realized that life is more fluid. And so what helps me is the things that bring me peace, which are being out in nature, being on the water, snuggling with my kiddos, taking some downtime, recharging my battery. And so I've learned over time, I'm not a robot. I need to do that more. And so we try to get out in the wilderness and go camping and hiking every chance we get.
No, and what a good reminder for everyone who is listening. It is important to recharge. And I think that kind of goes back to what we're trying to do here. And that is to give people value and insights, because this podcast is hiring for good. So what does hiring for good mean for you?
Oh, I love that question. Hiring for good to me is really about making the choices where you can bring people into your organization that help you be more than the sum of your parts. It's about helping find folks that evolve for your clients, evolve your organization, bring more to it than you thought possible. And by doing that, letting them lean into their natural talents and finding the support mechanisms around them. I really think the more we as society members can lean into our talents and find ways to use them for good, the better off we all are.
Well, I think you embody what we're trying to accomplish here. So I'm going to give you a few of my takeaways. One is it's okay to be in the spotlight. It is. It is okay to say, look at me, look at what we're doing, but then balancing that with who you are and holding those values close and dear to your heart. And then the ability to recharge, find what makes you whole. Yeah, Tiffany, is there any other pieces of advice that you have to offer us?
More just a thank you, Suzanne, for what you're doing here. The fact that you're putting this program together, you're highlighting fellow leaders that are trying to make an impact in the world. Just applause all around for everything that you're doing for the community and all of the service that you've been supplying for years in the Pacific Northwest.
Thank you so much. So once again, this is Tiffany with Candor Concepts, Tiffany Salzman. All of her information will be part of this podcast. So reach out to her, especially when you're looking at, I'm here, I want to go there. What are the steps I need to take? And it's really about taking that step back and looking at things strategically in order to know what tactical steps to take. So, Tiffany, thank you so much. And I really do appreciate you.
Thank you, Suzanne.